Evening, everyone. Yes, I am audible to everyone present. It's, but it's
यस
that
सर
is
सर आपकी आवाज
chat.
ब्रेक हो रही है।
Raj, you were saying something?
सर आपकी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है।
That's great. Great. अभी बताओ अभी is it fine? Because for me it's fine.
ओके सर अब ठीक है।
So we have how many people? Nine. We're going in. What do you have travel yesterday? So those questions are based on that only. We will be starting more right planning and publishing part as well. Right. So today we will present. It's not fine now. Am I audible or is there any disturbance in the voice? To right now, some issue with the mic. Hello. So we will be going around with our um, let me fix it. I guess it's available now. Is it okay right now? Why voice not clear? Just a sec. Okay, hope so. I'm audible now. I just have to change my mic as there might be something wrong with the mic wire. So have to shift to some other thing. Sorry for the delay. Let's move forward. We'll have 10 minutes extra. So yeah, we'll be talking about our OSINT, right? So what is OSINT and ultimately how it works. So ultimately for OSINT, we will be going through with how my OSINT is actually making my tasks easier while capturing a lot of information, right? So we would be basically talking about our information gathering as we were talking about yesterday. So OSINT is that technique through which you would be able to, or you can basically go around and find a lot of data. So there's this project called as open source intelligence, and this project has been created by some researchers outside of India, which they thought that would be good for finding a lot of information. So this particular framework, if you open it, right, it would basically okay. So, okay, Ocean framework is not even working today. That's great. So it usually opens it like this, right? Whenever you open it, so it basically opens it like this particular thing. So you are basically having a lot of websites, right, which are basically given for a lot of topics, right? So any kind of topic you can open, and it basically opens all the websites that are related to it. So you can basically see that if you want to basically capture some username, so it would basically open websites for the username, that what are the websites where you can track usernames, or you can check out that if one particular person has a username, how would you basically track that person in some other space, right? For example, he might be, if I have the username of me, let's say my username is Sancho Official, and I usually use this particular username in most of the cases, in most of the times and most of the social media accounts, I try to basically use the same username everywhere, right? It's Sancho Official. So usually what happens is that if I search for Sancho Official, right, there are certain tools which I can use basically to capture information around here, and basically check out that where my Sancho Official account is located, on which other platforms, on which particular other social media accounts. So same for email addresses, finding the reputation of email address, or these kind of thing, right? So let's try to open once again. Yeah, now we have opened it. So it's basically like this. So you can see we have username over here. So if I click on username, it would open that do we want to search for username, or do we want to search for some specific sites? I want to search for usernames, and it would basically open all these kind of things, right? And then I could basically go for email address. Let's say I want to look for an email address, and I want to basically search for an email address, or I want to verify a particular email address. So it would basically give me all the websites, either just not the names, but I can also click on it and simply go to the website and simply just try to check it out if my work can be done or not. But just because most of these websites are pretty old and the OSINT framework is not yet updated, a lot of other websites, or these websites are basically simply, just sending me to some other accounts or some other websites. For example, this mailshunt.com now redirects me to something else because the website does not even exist and it has been closed. So ultimately, the website does not open. So what about SkyMM if I open it? So this is actually working, and I can basically find the email addresses of some companies and people, right? So I can give my company name over here. Let's say sunstone.in, and we can basically try to find the email addresses related to Sunstone. So we have like connect@sunstone, this one, right? So we have like a lot of Sunstone email IDs, right? So select.admissions, scholarships, then we have Shrutika, then we have grievances, connect search. But these are some of the like Bhavya Thakkar, Shruti Bhadoria, and all these emails, right? Might be the emails that we would need uh, for doing certain things, right? So usually it's showing that there are 34 emails for Sunstone, and the logo of the website is also available. And I can basically get all these, right? Dinesh@sunstone.in, right? Then we have Kanu, and this particular person. Now I can basically search for these people, right? And just type Sunstone, right? So you can even see that we have got it on Zoom Info, Sunstone Business School, and I searched for this particular person's name, right? Kanu Ahelian. So if I basically go over and click on this, I might be able to get a lot of more information around here, right? So let's say Sunstone Business School employee directory. So this has like employee directory of the people, and the co-founder is Piyush Nangaru, and then ultimately other people are there. So this website could give me Zoom info. Basically, it could give me a lot more other things, right? So most of the times, these OSINT researchers has a lot of um, websites open to them, and ultimately they can go around and get the information from them, right? So that is the thing, right? And ultimately we can just find more, right? For example, Bhavya Thakkar is also there, so I could basically go around because these people would have higher officials would be in Sunstone, right? That's why they have this emails. So if I just type in Sunstone over here, I could basically research about this particular person, about Bhavya Thakkar. So we have to go much more into it, right, to basically understand that if that person is there or not, right? And we would basically need Sunstone. So yeah, uh, Bhavya Thakkar and Sunstone. You're not getting anything like that, right? Okay, here we have Bhavya Thakkar. So let's try to open, and here we can see label Bhavya Thakkar senior content writer. That is what basically it is shown, and ultimately we have all these things, right? So you can just search for this information where this information is actually coming on. Okay, so this is basically a blog that is written by this person, right, in 2022. So that is why this ID might be given to her. And ultimately, she's the author. She is basically the author for the blog for Sunstone. Now, the point is, I know about Bhavya Thakkar. She's a blog author, and I know her email ID because her email ID wasn't mentioned over here anywhere. But I got to know her email ID from here. Right now, when I know her email ID, I can basically try to go and use this particular email ID for some other purposes, right? For sending certain phishing emails or something like that, and ultimately getting my work done, right? So ultimately there are these things are basically working over here. So if I give hackerswala.xyz, now here I just get one email, hackerswala.xyz@gmail.com, and it cannot basically load all the other IDs of Hackersvilla that we have, right? Because we have it hidden, and the DNS, which basically makes our these kind of things, right? We have security on it, so it cannot read my MX records, and it cannot basically go around and check out what other ID we use, because we have support @hackersvilla.xyz, Sanjay @hackersvilla.xyz. But here you can see that it's properly hidden, and it just shows one of the public email IDs that are also available on our portal. It does not even can go for support @hackersville.xyz, right? That is how you can just go around and check it out, right? So there are like lot of other things that you can do. You can basically go around and search for, and ultimately there are these kind of tools which can be used for any kind of thing. So these are for email address, and there is for domain names, for images, videos, and all these kind of things. So what we are going to look for today is geolocation, right? So we would be going for geolocation tools and maps. So if I click on it, there are a lot of tools that can be used for locating a particular image, right? So now for locating a particular image, you need to understand about Google Maps and Google Earth. These are like two main things that you would need. And what you would actually need is Yandex, right? Because what Yandex is basically to Google Maps is like you can say what we can say, right? Like what a Lamborghini would be to a Nano, right? So ultimately, uh, Google might be okay for searching the images, but for reverse image search and for location OSINT, Yandex is much, much, much more better. Now, there are some other maps that are also given over here. For example, Earth Explorer is there, OpenStreetMap is there, and these are like good maps that can be used for our information for finding particular area. Now, street maps are basically given so that you can basically view a street view of any particular area, but that is also included in Google Earth now, right? So there are some search criterias over here on this website where we can use certain search criterias, right? That how much heat is basically given to which particular area, or with heat, I would basically want to say the shadows. We can track shadows. We can track the pattern of the grass that we have over there, right? So that is how we can actually try to basically go around and understand the area. and the more major pattern of it, like how the color of grass and everything influences the vegetation, influences the location, that which particular location the person might be in. So that is how these maps are actually working, right? So there are like a lot of these kind of maps that are there which you can use. So what I would be doing is I would be using Yandex and I would be basically using my Google search, right? So if I have Yandex over here, I'll just simply open Yandex. Can we find a person location using their mobile number or email? Uh, I cannot say yes completely on this point, because let's say if you have the mobile number and you want to track the mobile number where it is, you cannot just simply click on one thing and find the mobile number of that thing. Like find the real location of that thing. Obviously, you can do with IMEI numbers and all these things. There are multiple types of sources that you can do, but most of the sources are only given to higher officials, for example CBI and other kind of these kind of things, right? So CBI has this, police basically can do this, and higher ranking officials have the permissions, like RAW and NIA. So ultimately, not we basically can basically go around with these kind of trackings that we can do, right? So that is the point. And somebody mentioned find my device, deleted the message. So yes, find my device can also be used. But yeah, find my device also needs that particular ID to be mentioned, right? And the phone should be open. That's why you will be that's only how you will be able to use find my device. Right. Most of the time, it is seen when a particular phone is getting stolen. The thief would simply just switch it off very quickly, right? So ultimately, it wouldn't be traced, right? So yeah, we have this Yandex over here. So you can just do simply image, reverse image search. You can just pretty simply paste your image over here and boom, done. So ultimately, you can see that we have this. So we'll be basically going into GeoGuessr as of now. How many of you have played GeoGuessr? Have you played GeoGuessr? So I'll be just opening GeoGuessr, and I have a premium edition of GeoGuessr for now. So I'll be just simply opening GeoGuessr and we'll be going on it, right? So, oops, so my ID is logged in. Yes. Single player campaign. We can go into travel around the world. No, no, no campaign. We would basically like to go into classic maps. So basically, we have this, and ultimately, we can just go around, right? And here, let's basically take the idea of famous places, right? So, famous places, this would basically give us the idea of what we have to see. So, I'll just simply play and see what we have over there. How can we find a device location with IP address if we lost it? We cannot, because IP addresses can only be given IP addresses by public IP address. We can just find the information or the last location of the server where it is located, or basically the DNS. So if in Delhi you have Geo over here, so the location that would come is the headquarter of Geo, not the exact location of where the person is sitting. So for location, what people do is they basically send a link or a particular image that a person can click on. And once you have clicked on, the location grabber could basically grab the location from that particular thing. But then again, a message would be sent or a notification would be coming on your device that do you want to give the location access to this particular website. Then ultimately, that's how a learned person or a self-aware person can be get aware. But if that person is not very much tech savvy, so ultimately he or she might click on that yes, and you might get the correct location. There are various tools that can do that. For example, Seeker is there. So that is the main thing. Okay. So let's say that you have to find the location of this particular place, right? You need to basically find the location where this is located. So what you have to look for is the data points, right? If you basically want to do geolocation, you want to basically look for the data points, that what are the main data points in this particular image, right? So data points can be anything, right? Anything that you can see right now, and that might basically go around. Also, location wasn't also depends upon the knowledge and the media consumption of your of your habits. Basically, if you have the habit of consuming a lot of media, you're watching a lot of reels, you are basically watching a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of Hollywood and Bollywood films, you might basically guess a lot of locations, right? But ultimately, if you do not have that knowledge, if you do not have played a lot of games, you might not have a lot of knowledge around it, right? So you need to basically they get dependent upon all these kind of things, like reverse image search and just looking more on data points, right? So what kind of data points can you look into it, right? Like what are you observing? With data points, I mean, what are you observing over here? Anything that you would like to mention in the chats? What do you think this can be? Obviously, this is a bridge, and we all have heard that thing, heard that lyric, right? The London Bridge is falling down. So it can basically be the London Bridge, or it can basically be a part of London, but it can be Norway, it can be any European country with river flowing over here. So what do you think? What do you observe in this image rather than a bridge? What do you mainly observe? I want to see your observation power, right? So let me know in the chats. What do you basically see in here? We have some glass buildings, a kind of building like this kind of structure over here, right? Then three glass buildings together, right? A tower is there, yes. We have some cruise ships, small cruise ships, some motorboats as well. Then we over have like a tower over here as well. We then have these. So the structure of building is really good. You can see a building is basically created like this, right? A rocket-shaped dome building. Then what kind of other things you can see? You can observe. What kind of things you can observe over there, right? So the first thing that you need to observe over here is the architecture, right? That what is the architecture of my current scenario. So you can see the architecture, a kind of castle is here, right? You can see the entry point of the castle. People are just going in, might be a place where people are roaming around. And it has like flags on the top with yellow colors, right? Then ultimately, the construction of castle tells me that it is an European country, right? Somewhere near Italy or Rome, right? And the vegetation, you can look around the vegetation, the trees, the color of the trees. Although most of the European countries or London have like lot of, you know, they are like very chilly in winters, and most of the trees are like, not uh, that much green, right? But yeah, still you can basically say that this might be there. We also have a tower over here, right? We have certain castle-like structure over here as well. There's a lot of construction also going on, right? Here also we have a crane, right? Here also we also have like two cranes that are building on something. A mall might be built, might be, right? Then over here we have a bus, right, which we can use. So the bus says Matilda, 47 major awards something. So it's basically an ad for something, right? And then ultimately we cannot see what kind of buses there's, like though no number is visible, but we can see that okay, they're like double decker red buses, right? So you can basically search for which country operates double decker red buses and get some information. Then we have over here as well. So nothing is written as of over here that what it could be. We have a bridge where we cannot go on the top, right? But there are people on the bottom of it. And ultimately, this particular bridge is, uh, over here, you can see that starts from here, ends from here, right? And ultimately, is a place for people to sit and relax, right? So you can just do that. Now, it's a very, I think that it's a very much famous place. So if I would just need to do a reverse image search, I can just simply try to get a screenshot of it and simply do a reverse image search if we do not have much knowledge about it. So I can just do this, go over here, paste it, sorry, paste it, and ultimately I will be able to get the location because sometimes Google search might not work well, but a lot of times your Yandex would work. Yandex is again a Russian website, so ultimately the language would be Russian. but you would basically get a lot of things that are related to that. Now you can see that the bridge opens, right? And we can basically go around over here, right? So we can just look into any particular image, right? Or we can just go to the site from where it is coming on, and we can simply see that this is the England River Thames, right? And we at least headed downstream, right? So ultimately, we are basically getting the location out of it, right? That where it could be. So you just have to read over here and you have to just see where they are, right? So this is that kind of structure again, big, and this is our image, right? So it's a tower bridge and we are in London only, right? So yeah, that is how we can simply see Tower Bridges. This is Tower Bridge only, right? And how did I understand? Okay, if this is a bridge, that is why I understand one thing. But the architecture, how did I basically was able to understand with the architecture with this kind of structure that it might be a European country? Because I have played a lot of Assassin's Creed, right? And if you have played Assassin's Creed, you know, uh, 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, right? You would basically know that their architecture or the buildings are like kind of similar to this particular thing, and the whole game is based in France, right? And the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is basically based in Rome and Italy and Venice. So when we are playing these games, they take the real structures, they create a real city out of it, and yeah, that is the whole point. Syndicate. Syndicate is really good. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is set in where? Syndicate is, I guess, not set in European country, but I have played, not a lot of Syndicate, but I have basically played a little of Syndicate, and like they have like two people over there, right? Two characters, a brother and sisters. London. Okay, okay, it's London. I have not played, Syndicate. I've played like till Unity, and then I got fed up as the IP was basically going much more into RP role playing, right? So yeah, that is what basically we can see, and ultimately, uh, this is London Bridge over here, right? Or basically our Tower Bridge. So we can just simply go over here in London and mark it on, right? So that is what we need to basically understand that where it could be. And this is our Tower Bridge, as we can see. So we can just simply mark this location as we are here. And yes, okay. So we were on on that side. So that is just 130 meters away. Now we have the other thing, one more thing over here, right? So this is the new image. Now again, what kind of data points you could basically capture from here? So that is what we need to understand. Again, there's a river. So there's a river over here. There's something written on that side, and it's a casino, right? It's a casino, and the name of the casino is written, right? So Casino Queen. We have a Casino Queen over there. And what else? I guess the main thing that we need to look for is this curve, right? This arc that we have. And if I'm not wrong, you can also go into this arc and just go on to the top, right? And there is like a huge lift over there. If I'm not wrong, it's it can be Dubai, but again, um, we have a river flowing. So that is over here. We have a bridge, right? So the most thing we can basically search for is either Casino Queen or we have to basically verify for this arc, right? And we can basically go for the arc, right? So ultimately, I can just type in um, the great arc or the huge arcs, right? So giant arc, we have it, and arc-like building structure, giant arc building. So we have like these arc over here, right? As you can see, it's built like this gateway arc, right? Now, because why I'm clicking on this because it's like showing me the whole river that is there. So that is what I want to look for. And ultimately, this might be the gateway arc only. Now, it's in St. Louis, Missouri, right? So we can go around and understand where this might be located. So Gateway Arch, right? So Gateway Arch, we have to search for it, and it's in United States again. So I can use Google Earth. right? So Google Earth to verify if I was basically right or wrong, because I know that in front of it I have Queen Casino. So just want to verify if Queen Casino is there or not, right? So this is like a very good way to verify if you have got anything. The best part is basically to capture the points. And once you have captured the points, you would basically go for searching about or verifying it on Google Earth, right? So Google Earth would basically tell us where our thing might be. So I'll just basically go around, search for our gateway arc. So gateway arc. And here we are in US, and ultimately here we have our gateway arc. This is the thing. We can go 3D, right? We can go basically 3D over here. It's our gateway arc. And here we might have our casino, right? You can basically see this is the same casino that we can see, Casino Queen, right? So yes, we were right. And we have the same bridge over here that you can see. We can to verify it properly, we can also go from 3D to the street view, right? So although we've already verified it, but going to the street view would basically have the same mapping structure, right? So you can see that the same map over here, right? Because that is also taking from Google, right? Our GeoGuessr is also basically taking the same thing from Google Earth only. So that is how we can just simply check it out. Yeah, it's like the same thing that we can see. Okay, so this is the thing, and we have basically got our answer that this is our in US we have our gateway arch, right? So told me into Mississippi, right? So I need to basically search for Mississippi River. So let's just zoom out and see where in US we are right now. So we are into Illinois on the upper part of it. Here we have. So it might be visible somewhere here. Uh, well, let's just mark it anywhere, right? Doesn't matter. We have got the location though. It's just 2.2 kilometers far. So yeah, next thing. Okay, so I've completed two images. Right now, I would like you to basically tell me that what are the data points in this image. Right, so we have this main statue that we can see. It's like a golden fairy statue. Right. What else you can see in this image? Anything that you can get this thing out? I guess the language, flag, is something written over here, right? Like it's written in Chinese or something, right? What else? All the number plates are hidden, so we cannot basically see the number plates. We have a truck. We have some cars going on. So we can, when in the road, we can basically look for the road patterns, right? So we can look for the road patterns, the kind of cars we have. Then we can search for the road patterns similarly, right? So what it might be, we also have a bus, right? This bus have a statue on the top. Or I guess there might be a statue behind the bus. We have a biker, we have some trucks, we have some cars on this side. We have not much more. It's like a circular thing over here. We have people visiting at this place, right? Uh, we have this. So this is basically a kind of statue over here. Now, what kind of statue might this be? I have to look for that. And this statue is like one, two, three, four, yellow fairy statue, right? So for now, we can just try to do reverse image search. right? Let me show you the difference between Google and difference between our, Yandex. So if I basically take this image and go to my Google, and if I just try to search over here, same thing. And if I go to Yandex and search the same thing, right? So you can see that my Google Lens has basically scanned for this particular thing. And my Google Lens has basically got the information that from where it is coming from. So it is basically getting the information, the source of the image, that where there are some relatable images, right? Or the images that matches the same thing. So Wikimedia, Shutterstock, and all this like Videvo, all these websites, iStock, FreePic, Flickr, all these websites are basically the websites that give you basically a lot of sample images, right? So these are like image market. Now, the point is that uh, Google works in that sense. Now, if there is no image on these kind of websites, how would you basically find that particular location? Like, not many of the times it can basically find out all these things. But on the other hand, if I go into Yandex, it would basically give me the articles related to the photos where they are uploaded. So it would not show you Shutterstock or all these kind of things. It would basically show you, the better things. For example, you can see it has searched for the flag itself, right? And for my Google, it has basically searched for the building, right, that you can see over here, not the flag. So it's basically focused on the building. So we have got the thing from both ends, that it is basically a victory column. It's a monument over there, and it's in basically a Berlin. So that is what we can understand with it, right? So that is the point, right? Now, the point is that we may try to basically use either Google. Sometimes Google could help. Sometimes, Yandex can directly help us, right? So that is the point. So here we have Berlin, and in Berlin we have it, right? So let's go down, right? And ultimately, in Germany, Berlin, we have this, right? So that is what the language was saying, I guess, right? Though it was written something in Chinese, right? But yeah, still, we can just simply say that it's there. So that is how we can find the location, right? So let's just simply go around, and we have our Berlin. Let's just go randomly. Okay, next. And what we have over here is a bridge, a huge bridge that is going from here to there. And ultimately nothing much but this bridge and a very good picturesque environment, right? Basically, we have greenery all around, right? Some green forests and some green mountains, hills all around. And here we have this bridge that might be the one of the wonderful thing that a man might have created. So we can also read this image, or like what this thing says. It's just P, uh, might be for parking 1 kilometer ahead. So we can just try to basically move around in this particular area. We can just see more of it. If we can find some data point, right? Basically, we can basically, if we find some, this particular kind of map, right? That would basically help us, right? Because um, map would basically give us a lot of information. So we have St. George's, St. Freak, right? Here, and Pyrie over here. So St. George's, right? Let's search for that. Saint, what was the spelling again? Georges. So St. George's School, but it was not school, right? So St. George's, St. Ifrik. Let's search for that as well. So it's a cathedral, but where does it? So bridge near this thing. So we have this bridge over here, as we can see. It's kind of similar bridge that we can see, or to something else. So yeah, kind of a similar bridge. Right. So this might be Africa, as it's basically shows Africa and bridges of Africa. Okay. Well, let's also we can search for huge white bridge. This might be the bridge, right? So we can basically try to see because this matches our image a lot, right? And then the environment and the hills are also there. So this might be also the thing. This is Millau Viaduct, where it is. Millau, yeah. So Millau Viaduct, where it is. Let's see. Southern France. Okay. So like that is how we can basically find the information around here and where our things would be and where we could basically get all these kind of things. So southern France, it said, right, we could basically go somewhere around here and as we have got the information right. So yeah, so here. So next we have this. I guess we are back to India, right? And I guess I do not need to explain the data points we need to see here, right? Got this location or not? I don't need to tell you where this is or what this is. This is pretty much self-explanatory, right? What is this? Or else, what is this? Taj Hotel and Gateway of India, right? So pretty much self-explanatory, right? We have seen it at a lot of places. Okay. So that is how we can go around with these kind of images, right? But now let's say that these were all the famous images that we could see. And with the famous images, you know that you could be able to simply guess it, right? In a pretty simple way. But what if we are talking about not the very famous places, but let's say if I'm talking about the whole world over here, right? How would I basically try to see over here? Because it wouldn't then show the famous places. It would basically show the whole world. I have to capture the data points that where this image could be, right? And what kind of thing we might be basically seeing over here, right? So ultimately, that is what we need to understand, and we need to basically go for the data points as well, right? So there are certain websites as well, like GeoSpy, if I guess the name correct. So GeoSpy is basically an AI kind of website which basically tells you that where this particular image might be based on their AI, right? And let's basically try GeoSpy over here. So they're very actively just updating their website. Let's go around and let's see, right? If let me do some searches. Previously, it used to be free, but now, as the more people are growing on it, more people are coming on it, right? It's basically getting a lot of attention, and that's why it's basically getting paid. So I have a lot of images over here. I guess I might have the photos, the Geospy photos, right? So here are certain photos of mine which Geospy can easily guess. And sometimes it basically does not guess it, sometimes it guesses it. So if I guess this particular photo, like my first photo over here, it would basically try to guess where that image could be, right? Now that particular image is this, and ultimately, what is the look? This particular thing I am getting the explanation. The photo shows a man standing near a body of water with tall grasses growing along the banks. The buildings in the background appear to be in Indian style, and the man's clothing and turban suggest he might be of Indian descent. Additionally, the vegetation appears to be in the consistent consistent with the flora and fauna found in India. We've also got this particular thing, the exif data of my camera, that ultimately it was shot by a Canon camera over here, and it is in India, Delhi. So yes, we this photo was basically shot in Delhi in a Yamuna park over here, which is basically the biodiversity park. So ultimately, let's see if we can get the location right. Right, if we get the location right, it would be really great. But I guess no, the location isn't right. But let's see, we have this image shot in. No, this is showing this, but the image is basically from this area, right? So the image was basically taken at this. The photo was taken around here, but it showed me this kind of a good thing right over here. But there might be certain more certain more possibilities that it could show it wrong as well, right? Let's go and let's basically go with one more image, right? For example, this particular image is pretty easy to know. Now this is from Amritsar, right? And ultimately this is where I basically can get to understand with this image. Let's see. So the architecture and signage of the image appear to be in Indian, right? The man in the photo is wearing a pink kurta and pajama, which is a traditional Indian outfit. The statue in the background is of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, a famous Sikh ruler. So again, the city is Delhi, right? And all that tells me that it might be Punjab region, right? But it simply tells me that it is in Old Delhi. But when it was now shot on my phone, right, Motorola H30, right? So ultimately, when this image was taken, right, and when I basically gave this particular you know image to this particular AI for the very first time, it gave me very accurate results. You know how there are various things that are basically with this particular image that I can show you, right? So let me go around and open the image where it was in photos used by, and yeah, this is the image. So basically you can see that when this image was basically taken, yes, there is a statue of Marana Ranjit Singh in the background that you can see somewhere where it was here. So we have a statue over here that we can see, and though told me that it might be a Punjabi style, but if you zoom in over here, right? If you zoom in over here, there's a school, and it says in the background or in the bottom of it that it's like ASR, which tells me Amritsar. Now we also have this thing written in Punjabi, which could basically tell me that okay, this might be in Punjab only, right? And not the old Delhi not basically the Chandni Chowk place of old Delhi, right? Because ultimately, no, not everything is written there in Punjabi, right? Okay, let's say that if it cannot read Punjabi, it's Amritsar written in Punjabi. But what about this Amritsar police? What about the number plate that shows PB02, right, which is again Amritsar, right? So ultimately, that is what you need to look for. And when the first time I gave this particular image to this Geospy AI, it correctly told me that it's in the place. It's in the same place, Amritsar, but now it's not saying that, right? So there are certain inconsistencies as they're growing their AI. There might be some errors. So I guess it would give me three tries before it locks me out, but let's go for the third image as well. So the third image that I have taken is actually over here in the hilly areas. This is basically the railway station. And with these particular mountains, you might also can guess where this was taken. Any ideas where this particular mountains or these kind of ranges could be and we could have taken this, right? Also, there's something over here, and a trek trail is also over here, right? You can see. So I guess you might be able to simply capture it, right? Like simply guess it, and also the these kind of shops also tells me that's Devi Darbar, then ultimately Prasad House. So yeah, it was basically Vaishno Devi and the Katra railway station. So ultimately, this is the image that was taken there, and for this particular thing, you can see that l- just does all the thing over here, right? It's in Katra and Jammu Kashmir, with like one of the very much decent, correct location that I was standing there, right? So these kind of things are good, right? That it could also give you the locations. Geospy can be good, but not every time Geospy can be really good, right? Sometimes it may also mistake with these kind of things. So you need to basically work on a lot of like images as well, and you need to basically work on a lot of data points, right? You need to check in the data points at where you can be, right? So you need to look for the vegetation, need to look for the trees, what kind of trees are growing over here. You need to exactly know that which country has which type of forest. So here you can see that the trees are like Christmas trees over here, right? And ultimately it could be anything, right? If I want to mark it over here, let's say I mark it here. This is like Norway, right? So as I was saying, I was basically going around like it could be Norway, it could be Sweden, it could be Switzerland as well, as basically the countries are like similar, right? So here now you can see if I want to read the data points, there is no um, famous place over here. Now let's say if I want to search for where this particular image might be taken, I can take a screenshot and I can do reverse image search. That could be my first step, right? To basically go for the reverse image search over here. So if I basically try to capture the photo of it and give it to Yandex once, right? So let's give it to Yandex. So let's see what it does, and also let's give it to Google. Let's see what it does as well. So giving it to Yandex, it simply tells me that it might be a street in London, right? And then basically uh, where it to Whitechapel, London, right? So Whitechapel, London. And for Google, it does give me the name of city print, right? Because it takes city print in. But what if I do not give the name of the shop, right? Let's say I give the street. So for the street, we are basically getting a lot of things, right? We have something over here, we have something changed over here. So mostly we are getting street images. It thinks that we are basically looking for street because right now we are not doing Google reverse image search. We are actually focusing on certain part, right? You know how Google Lens basically works is that it focuses on certain part of it and search for it. For example, it wouldn't look for which area it would be. It would look for which area this particular area would be available in which particular countries or what it would be actually. Now, when the city print what was actually visible to my Google was simply was like Lens was okay, like we have got city print over here. Now you can see even if I include city print, it does not tells me where the city print shop would be, right? Because it's looking for a street. But if I just simply go into city print, now it's like, okay, I have to focus on city print. I have to find where the city print is. So I can basically find it like this, right? So that is the difference between this Google and my, right? So London over here and Yandex, right? Yandex can simply see, it also searched for the city print. It also searched for the street area and found like kind of the same thing, right? So Whitechapel, London, we can basically go with that. So ultimately, that is how we could basically go around and understand the things, right? That where this could be. So that pretty much makes good sense over here because you can then go around and simply, understand with this Yandex. And after getting it from Yandex, you could basically go around and you could basically just check on your Google Maps or Google Lens, sorry, not Lens, on Google Maps or Google Earth to basically find out or verify the exactly same thing that if that particular shop or if that particular area was similar to what it is shown to you in the image, right? So ultimately, here we have trees, here we have house, right? And we basically have like a mirror over here for the turns. We have something written in Chinese, right? It could be Japanese as well, but it feels Chinese, right? And ultimately, we have all the things written over here in that language. So I cannot read the signs, right? But here we can see, right, things written over here. And the data points could be like the phone number. You can also just call the phone number and check it out where this particular, uh, place is located in the world or in China, right? So yeah, that is how you could basically guess this particular place, right? And if I just mark anywhere in China, right? Let's mark anywhere in China. It should. Okay, so it was in Japan only. Right. So it felt like Japanese, but there's a slight difference in Japanese and Chinese. It was near Tokyo. Okay. So now this place. So this place, what data points do we capture from this place? We have like a reservoir kind of a thing over here, right? And we have like a road. Here also we have like the water flowing. Like we have a pretty small road over here, right? And ultimately, this is the only information that we can get, right? No number plates and nothing. So yeah. So now to understand this place, we can either do reverse image search or we could either basically find out certain things like where this particular kind of reservoir might be located, right? So we can search for that, right? So all these things are there, right? Now the point is there are a lot of labs that you can also basically practice on if you want to practice with these kind of things. So they are on Try Hack Me. Remember I told you to create your ID on Try Hack Me around a few days ago. So this is where you would basically use your Try Hack Me accounts. So for Try Hack Me, there are two main labs that you can focus on as of now. That is, one is geolocating images, geolocating images. So the name of the room or the name of the lab is geolocating images. That is what you can do. And the second one is Sakura, right? So Sakura ROM is also really good ROM for finding the information, right? So you can go with Sakura, you can go with geolocating images. So geolocating images would basically give you four, images over here which you need to track, and the four images would basically be around four parts of the world. So it's like the first one is like this. Now it's a pretty good image of a particular bubble that might be located in some part of the world. You have to basically reverse reverse search this to basically get the location of it where it could be. Right. Then the second one is basically giving you a lot of things. A lot of data points are there. Like you have a statue in between. Right. You have something starting from W written over here. You have Sheffield and Edison. Right. Now, if you can imagine, these are the boards that you can see. Now, mostly these are the boards that you can basically see in American style. Right. Like if you have seen certain American movies or some shows, even if you have seen shows like Young Sheldon, you would see these kind of boards over there. Like this is a very American style of designing the boards of directions. So you would basically search for Sheffield and Edison, 3600 yards north and 1000 yards west. Right, as they use like imperial systems. Then ultimately we have this particular huge structure over here, and we have a sports center, right? So we have to look for the sports center, right? So this is what we would be looking for. The person is basically wearing a hoodie, so it might be winters over there that we can understand, right? So ultimately, that is what we need to search for, and we have to find this particular image. Then the third one is basically this, that you can see a tower in the background and like pixelated image over here that you can look for. Right, then there is some dome-shaped building over here with the vegetation and the trees. You can say it might be again an European country, right? And if you think this particular tower could be Eiffel Tower, then you have to search for these kind of buildings near Eiffel Tower. You'll basically get the location where this image might be taken from. Right. And the fourth image is also just kind of similar like that. A lot of data points are there. Basically, first thing being this Mini Cooper style car with this kind of yellow number plate. And you have to search for where these kind of number plates are legal, right? Then this car is also having, if you can just upscale this image, you can check out the number. There is a, uh, kind of monument in between, pretty small thing in between, and the way of the road over here, you can see the pattern of the road. Yeah, right. This is London. Yes, obviously it would be London, right? Why? Because yellow street lamps, you've seen it in a lot of places. And by seeing this image, if you can remember you know the movie, the Shah Rukh Khan movie that was there, which was shot in London, um, with Anushka Sharma and Katrina Kaif. What was the name? Jab Tak Hai Jaan, right? So it was shot in London, and lot of scenarios were basically taken over here. So I remember these yellow street lights from there. And ultimately, then again, the trees and the weather, you can see it's cold. Then the structure is again European, the buildings over here that you can see, right? So it's basically taken from a live camera that you can see that we have to basically understand, right? So, okay, for those who want to go, can go. I'll be just extending 5 minutes more for this session, right? So ultimately, you can see over here that we have all these things. So this lab would tell you a lot of things and would teach you a lot of things. So go for this lab's geolocating images. All you have to do is just create your ID on TryHackMe and just go for geolocating images, the lab name. Search for it, right? You would get the search over here and learn, right? And then ultimately download the task files and start with all the things. It's also would be teaching you that from where you could basically get these kind of things. Just follow it and you could basically go around with these kind of things, right? So that is how you could basically check these things out, and you could basically get a particular understanding of how the things are kind of working, right? So here is basically the link for your feedback form, right, for today. And ultimately, you can basically go for a lot of things right over here, um, with this lab. And the second lab that we searched for is Sakura. So that Sakura lab over here would also tell you a lot of things, right? That is properly based upon a particular person who had tried to hack you. And now you would be basically hacking the person back by simply doing OSINT on that particular person. So that person actually has a lot of social media accounts, like their Twitter account is there. So ultimately, searching their username on Google gets you a Twitter account. So ultimately, their Twitter account basically gives you a lot of information about where this person belongs to, and this person has basically went at this particular place for a vacation and lives over here somewhere here in the map. And while he was coming back, he basically had a layover. His flight had a layover in this particular at the airport where this particular lounge is actually located. So this is the information that you have, and you have to basically find out where he lives and from where he's coming from and to where he's heading up, right? So that is basically all the things, and these labs are really really good. They would also have the tutorial over there, so you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, that was about location hacking, right? You need to basically go around and look for the data points, the exact data points that you can get. And with those exact data points, you have to basically capture the image, and you have to basically see where that image might be located on. So you can use Yandex, you can use Geospy, you can use some other AI tools. Many of the tools were mentioned in the OSINT framework as well, so you can use those tools as well, right? And rather than that, you can basically use Yandex for reverse image search, and mostly you can also use ChatGPT to basically filter out the results that what kind of vegetation is basically available in this particular country, and you can filter it out like that, right? So yeah, that is all for today, right? And we'll be meeting on Monday with more OSINT, right? The next thing we want to look for OSINT is web OSINT. So we'll be going to web OSINT as well. How do we find more information on a website? And we'll be doing web OSINT. Then after web OSINT, we'll be doing a session on scanning and enumeration. And then one of the session back to Google Dorking and all these kind of stuff to find more information about the thing. Right. So yeah, I'll be seeing you on Monday, same time, 8:30, right? So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks a lot for joining in, right? Just please do fill up this feedback form once, and yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Happy weekend. Good night.